Good morning, students. So this is our seventh part of our chapter cell. So we'll study about nucleus in this chapter. The nucleus is the most conspicuous and largest organelle of the eukaryotic cell. It is visible with light microscope, and how its structure has been revealed by electron microscope too. So first of all, nucleus was observed by Dutch microscopist Antony van Leeuwenhoek in the red capsules of fishes. However, Scotch botanist Robert Brown was the first to describe nucleus in the orchid cell in 1831. The nucleus is present in all eukaryotic cells, you all know. Then certain mature cells, however, don't have a nucleus. The mammalian red blood capsule cells lose their nuclei at maturity and survive for few months only. You know that lifespan of RBC is only 3 months. The food conducting phloem cells called sieve tubes of flowering plants, angiosperms, also don't have nucleus at the mature stage, but they remain functional for several years. So it means that if generally a nucleus is removed from a cell, say amoeba, the cell doesn't survive for long unless the nucleus is restored. So in prokaryotes, the organized nucleus with nuclear envelope is not present, and it is called nucleoid, highly folded circular DNA molecule without a membrane. So now we'll tell about the number of nucleus present in a cell. Most cells are uninucleate, that is, have a single nucleus. Some cells are binucleate, just like Paramecium chordatum, have two nuclei, and but a few cells are multinucleated, just like striated muscle fibers in our body, and just like Plasmodium uh, mm, in fungus, cenocytes such as Rhizopus are cenocytic multinucleate because the cross walls are not formed as irregularly formed in the mycelium. So this type of condition is called cenocytic condition. So, generally, the nucleus has a relatively fixed position, usually present in the center, but sometimes it may be present at the periphery. Adipose cells have peripheral nucleus, just like. So, we'll study about detailed structure of nucleus in the next slide. So in this diagram, you are watching the detailed structure of nucleus. So interphase nucleus means the nucleus at the time when the cell is not dividing is highly extended, and it has nucleoprotein fibers called chromatin, nuclear matrix, and one or more spherical bodies called nucleoli. The membrane of nucleus is made up of two membranes, and the space between them is called perinuclear space, which is a barrier between materials inside the nucleus and that of the cytoplasm. And in this nuclear membrane, there are some pores which are called nuclear pores, through which the substances of nucleus formed in the nucleus can go are in connection with the cytoplasm. So the nuclear matrix or nucleoplasm contains nucleolus and chromatin. The nucleoli are spherical structures present in the nucleoplasm. The content of nucleolus is in continuation with the rest of the nucleoplasm, as it is not a membrane bound structure. It's a site for active ribosomal RNA synthesis. Larger and more numerous nuclei are present in cells where active translation process takes place. So this is the structure of nucleus. In next slide we'll study more about it. So in this slide, we can see that interphase nucleus has loose and indistinct network of nucleoprotein fibers called chromatin. But during different stages of cell division, cells show structured chromosomes in place of nucleus. Chromatin contains DNA and some basic proteins called histones. Some non-histone proteins are, and also RNA is also present there. A single human cell has approximately 2-meter long thread of DNA distributed along its 46 chromosomes. Means 2 meters means the chromosomes are highly coiled in the form of solenoid. You will study the structure of detailed structure of chromosome packing in the next class. So these all thread-like chromatin material is packaged in the small nucleus. So in the next diagram, you are seeing that chromosomes with kinetochores. Every chromosome essentially has a primary construction or the centromere, on the sides of which disc-shaped structures are present, which are called kinetochores. Two structures you are watching, these are called kinetochores are present. Based on the position of centromere, the chromosomes can be classified into four types. So in next slide, we'll study the types of chromosomes on the basis of presence of the centromere. So in this slide, you will study about types of chromosomes. First is metacentric, then submetacentric, acrocentric and telocentric chromosomes. So first of all, metacentric. Metacentric chromosomes are those chromosomes in which centromere is near the middle and the two arms are almost equal in length. Is called metacentric chromosome. Next one is submetacentric chromosome. The chromosomes in which centromere is slightly away from the middle point and consequently its one arm is slightly short and the other arm is slightly long. So it's called submetacentric chromosome. And next one is the chromosome in which centromere is near the end and consequently its one arm is very short and the other arm very long is called acrocentric chromosome. And next one is telocentric. So telocentric chromosome in which the centromere is at its tip of the chromosome and the arms are on one side only. Then it will be called telocentric chromosomes, or the arms are very short as compared to the other side. So this type of chromosomes are called telocentric chromosomes. So these are all the types of chromosomes. So in metacentric chromosome, you can see one primary construction that is called at the present at the time at the centromere, and a secondary construction is present at some of the chromosomes, which is and the part of the chromosome beyond the secondary construction is called satellite. So this is all about types of chromosomes.